magandang gabi and good evening. Welcome as we all celebrate the PARM NCR Chapter 10th founding anniversary.
Yes, tonight we stand together as one community, one family, as we make a decade of excellence, growth, and advocacy in Philippine physical and rehabilitation medicine.
Of course, we're here to celebrate a decade of NCR, nurturing skills, championing care, and
Redefining rehabilitation.
10 years ago, a vision was born, a vision of collaboration, compassion, and commitment among physiatrists in the NCR or National Capital Region.
Through time, this vision has evolved into a movement, a chapter that not only nurtures the next generation of leaders, but also elevates the standards of rehabilitative care for our patients and communities.
Tonight, we honor the journey, the milestones, the people, and the purpose that brought us here.
So whether you're a member, an associate, or a resident in training, or a steadfast friend of PARM NCR, this celebration is for all of us.
This is our decade. This is our story.
This is PARM NCR. So sit back and relax. Let us take you through an evening of nurturing, championship, and redefinition.
And as we begin, may this night remind us of how far we've come and how much further we can go when we move forward together.
It is my pleasure and honor to welcome you all to this milestone celebration, the 10th founding anniversary of and scientific conference, nagulat ako, of PARM NCR Chapter. So this year's theme, a decade, asan na yun? A decade of NCR, nurturing skills, championing care, and redefining rehabilitation captures the heart of what this chapter has achieved and continues to strive for. For over the past 10 years, PARM NCR Chapter has grown into a stronghold of excellence in physiatric care, in education, and advocacy, elevating our standards while keeping the values of service and compassion at its core. Today is both a celebration and a call to action. As we gather here together in this elegant setting of leather and lux, we also reaffirm our commitment to the profession, to one another, and most especially to the patients we care. This event brings together brilliant minds, pioneering spirits, and dedicated hearts uniting in shaping the future of rehab medicine. To the founding members and leaders who laid the foundation of this chapter, thank you for your vision and dedication. To the current officers, members, our pharma partners, thank you for your support and unwavering enthusiasm. May today's event inspire new insights, spark many meaningful collaborations, and strengthen the bonds within our community of proud physiatrists. Lastly, let me take this opportunity to invite you all to our 27th Mid-Year Convention in Rojas City on August 7 to 9. I hope to see you all there. Welcome once again, and let us celebrate this remarkable decade together with gratitude, with pride, and with purpose. Mabuhay ang PARM NCR Chapter, mabuhay ang Physiatry. Aren't we all proud physiatrists in one PARM? Thank you.
As we mark a decade of growth, one of the most important ways we can shape the future of rehabilitation medicine is by continuing to nurture skills, and not just in clinical practice, but through specialization and deeper expertise.
The field of physical and rehabilitation medicine has evolved far beyond general practice. Today, it spans a wide array of subspecialties from pain, musculoskeletal care, neurorehabilitation, pediatric rehab, cancer rehab, interventional procedures, and more.
In this first panel discussion, we will hear from from those experts or our experts who have pursued these different paths, each one unique but rooted in one mission to improve function and quality of life, as we said in the interview, for every patient that we serve.
They'll share their journeys, the challenges they've faced, and how choosing a subspecialty helped deepen their impact in the field.
So get ready to be inspired, and may this be one of the ways that you find direction in your own field of practice.
To moderate this discussion, please welcome Dr. Lawrence Manalili, Vice President of PARM NCR Chapter. Our guests are none other than from the PARM Specialty Board, chaired by Dr. Maria Regina Espinosa, Dr. Eduardo Peregrino, the head of Accreditation Committee, and Dr. Maria Arlene Ledesma, head of the Curriculum Activity.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's begin our first panel discussion,
Nurturing Skills, Exploring Subspecialties in Rehabilitation Medicine.
Why subspecialty is very important because looking forward nowadays in other countries and right now the field of medicine is very specialized already. So in our profession as a rehabilitation medicine specialist, we cannot just say general rehabilitation. All of us should know that, but we highly encourage that each one of us would go into specialization. There are lots of topics under rehab medicine. So, yung iba, they would say we are the jack of all trades, master of none. So, hindi tayo pwedeng nandun sa quote na ganon. So, we are, dumadami na tayo ngayon. So, us na may veteran seniors, medyo may gitna, may mga fresh, dapat we should encourage everyone. So ang tanong doon, do you know what are the subspecialties under rehabilitation medicine? So there's musculoskeletal ultrasound, EMG, but some would go into sports, some would go to pediatric rehabilitation, SCI, geriatric, occupational med, critical, brain, neurorehabilitation, ang dami. So, wag natin i-limit yung sarili natin.
Nowadays, a practice, not just in rehab, but also in other fields, would be geared towards precision medicine. And the reason why we're having precision medicine is to individualize the treatment options and to the treatment approach will be for a specific individual, not tailor fit to everyone. So aside from your history, physical examination, the diagnostic results of that patient, we consider also the lifestyle, the environment, the genetic makeup, etc. And the high yield diagnostic examinations of the patients, which a specialty training in our rehab field would be almost mandated to be able to go into a precision medicine.
Remember that our stakeholders, the patient's family, our co-doctors, is already evolving yung landscape with regards to physical medicine rehabilitation. A lot of people usually when it comes to you in your clinic, they will ask you certain type of questions that sometimes you will feel that if I don't have any specializations, I cannot really answer or provide specific comments or recommendations to our patients. So they know that because of the internet, social media, they know that there should be a specific treatment or specialization for this type of conditions. So if your patients and stakeholders are adjusting, the practitioners of rehabilitation medicine should also adjust to the existing or update or to our existing landscape. So we need to update also our practice for this specific type of specializations. So kung hindi kayo mag-a-adjust or hindi kayo mag-a-adapt, baka maiwan kayo sa practice ng ating specialty natin. Okay. And also, when you go to the recognition of this of the government, they will advise you to go into specialization. Kaya meron tayong mga PQF, AQRF. Okay? So may mga leveling tayo. So hindi lang dapat basic, Since that there should be a recognition for this one, we should know what specialization will fall onto. Thank you, Doc.
Thank you very much, Doctor. So I think a very important take-home message for us is to always update our practice. It's not always that you are good now, but you always have to be good in the new practices or in the new clinical practice guidelines. And also, it's very important to have our specialty training, especially if we engage in government items or once we go into government service. So thank you all for your inputs. So the number two question is, what are the current subspecialty areas available to physical rehabilitation practitioners in the Philippines and internationally? And are there any gaps that we should start to address now?
For the musculoskeletal ultrasound, we have the PGH, Philippine Orthopedic Center, and Cardinal Santos. Now, for the prosthetics and orthotics, it's just the Philippine General Hospital. So, as you can see, we have 11 institutions right now na accredited for residency training, but we still have to look forward with the fellowship. Kasi doc, kaunti pa lang siya eh. But at least it's starting. Okay, it's starting siya. So later on, other institutions, bigger institutions would divulge into fellowship also. So magiging sabay yan, residency training and then fellowship. So us in the board, we would also like to ask the help of the seniors who are experts already in the field to help us kasi this is our academy, so we have to grow and protect it kapag ganon. In terms of the gaps, siguro the gaps or the barriers with the fellowship, not all graduates divulge into specialty pa rin. So, kulang pa siya. So, we need experts in our field who specialize in specific subspecialties in rehabilitation to help create those fellowships. Kasi hindi naman tayo experts in lahat eh. So we need to accept our limitation. We need to ask the help of others.
Yeah, so those are the ones here, no, locally available. But of course, we have a lot which are internationally we can avail of, no, fellowship training abroad. Now, it is not just limited to musculoskeletal interventions, but of course, now you have the intersection between EMG and neuromuscular ultrasound, no, specifically neural ultrasound as well. So these are things which we can like explore. No? Another thing will be like dysphagia management. No? So konti pa lang yung who would go into these fields. Virtual reality, robotics. Although these are not actually like a year of training, but these can be found more in pediatric rehab. So you have 2 years of that in Baylor, and spine, no, SCI. You have also a year of that. You have let's say one fellowship position available every year, but you have to take their MLE, etc. But you have to search. No? There are also hospitals which would take in graduates for observership and preceptorship, which we have like this was mentioned by with our meeting with Papa. No?
Yeah.
There are observership which we can avail of. No? Another thing will be not just into the clinical practice, but also those who would want to go into teaching. There is such a thing as training in teaching in medicine. No? This is available in Harvard, which can be online, but of course, medyo prohibitive ng konti the cost. No? But it's something which you can explore for those who would be interested into really like acquire the skill. So because it's a different skill that you need to teach. Okay, so these are things which you can also look into. We have actually a list. When you visit the site of AAPMNR, there is a roadmap to fellowship. They have different sites that you could go into, like if you're interested in pedia rehab, SCI, you have different sites there which you can visit. I can actually pass this around the table so you can take screenshots if you're interested for those sites.
Thank you, Dr. for that. As an immediate follow-up, is there any form of online fellowship courses available for this? Kasi alam
For the Philippines, wala pa.
wala
Pero limited kasi abroad. Uh, there are for different regions kasi and countries they have these requirements for that one. So we have just to study them kung ano yung mga applicable tracks for them. If sometimes they offer hybrid.
hybrid.
So meron silang online tapos you have to go there for certification for examinations for evaluating the technical skills that you required for the certificate or fellowship. But right now, we're glad that we're benchmarking kasi accrediting a training, fellowship training. So we'll be accrediting yung pulmo rehab for lung center. So yun ang benchmark natin. Hopefully we can finish this so we can have the actual accreditation of a fellowship training by the PSP. So hopefully after the other fellowship will follow suit, we'll try to organize by themselves and we'll try to accredit the trainings of this fellowship program. Yep.
So that's a very exciting news, especially for our residents and new graduates. So watch out for this upcoming accreditation of a soon to be available pulmonary rehab. So it's actually good news that we are already diverging into something that's very close to our hearts, which is pulmonary rehab, and we're taking hold of the training and the fellowship. So thank you for giving your inputs. Lalong-lalo na we know that there are many, many specialties out there for us. Lalo na for teaching, there might be some residents here or fresh grad that would like to go to the academe and teach this our young graduates.
Actually, Dr. Ledesma kasi is pushing for the academic physiatry. So, ayun nga, we're trying to come up with the curriculum for that one. So, Dr. failed to mention it earlier, but for to help kasi yung mga physiatrists go into teaching kasi. So that would be one of the endeavors or one of the tracks the PSB is trying to provide for the residents.
So thank you very much. So our next question is should we look into adopting fellowship models from other countries? If so, which ones and what lessons can we try to learn and adapt from them?
Can I answer them?
Sure,
Uh,
pa.
Actually, when we're crafting kasi the curriculum and the number of units, we were tasked by the PRC, Board of Medicine, to come up with the standards. Uh, let's say how many units will a resident will earn undergoing training in residency. So Dr. Ledesma was able to pattern this from other countries. So we're patterning it at the number of hours that the units outcomes tapos yung mga competencies y- uh, Doctora was very much for that one.
Yeah, so with regards to patterns abroad and all, now we have some like estimates of like if for example if you're going to take if you're interested to take an accreditation examination for the board in electrodiagnostic medicine, no? So if for certification you need to have an accredited ACGME, meaning accredit from the Accreditation Council of Graduate Medical Education. Your institution should be accredited by that. So, but outside US, usually what they can give is just certificate of recognition. So it's just an exam, but it's not it's something that you renew like every so often, hindi siya lifetime. So you have to take that exam. And to be able to qualify for that examination, you should have corresponding training pattern in an accredited ACGME institution. And what is their requirements? So you should have 4 months of EMG training in your residency program and and about that's 200 cases, no? 50 could be observed. Now after your residency you should be able to have an experience of about 8 months of an independent electromyographer as an independent electromyographer with about 100 cases. So apart from your residency cases, you should have performed about 100 of cases to be able to qualify for the examination. So the examination is an MCQ test with video, that you should identify the waveform, etc. So so that's one thing, in with the how to parallel the current training as to the examinations abroad.
I said, thank you very much. So I think it's good news that we're already patterning our training on the international standards, and it's actually exciting that we can have an international standard. Hindi mo pwedeng sabihin na, "Hindi, I graduate from the Philippines, so I'm not globally renowned." So for the next question is, what steps can professional organizations like PARM take to promote and support subspecialty development?
Okay, so we talked about this question. So to make it simpler, what are specialties that we can go into here in the Philippines? So from experience, like me, pain fellowship together with Dr. Alex Bondoc and Dr. Justin Zamora and Dr. Melody Palabrica, and the other one is Dr. Chino Habaluyas. So it's just us who did fellowship training apart from the PARM. So under siya ng Pain Society of the Philippines. So others, occupational medicine, sports, lifestyle medicine, meron pa bang iba? Media and medicine, okay? Meron siyang gano'n. Pero, those are societies that we can go into kasi they accept. Also, I think, palliative, but other specialties pa, no, kasi they're closed in their society. Pero siguro ang medyo nag-aano diyan, ano ba, overlap would be the interventional kasi malahat nag-i-intervention. Some would go to specific na osteoporosis, mga gano'n. So, other specialties or societies are welcoming, okay? So, let's take advantage of that kasi hindi tayo puwedeng on our own lang. We should kasi referral tayo eh. We admit patients on our own as a rehab specialist, but mostly we get patients from referral system. So let us be out there. Make known, parang ganon. Para makilala nila tayo, and then makikita natin that their societies will be helpful for us also and us to them.
Siguro we can also encourage, no, begin with a simple step by encouraging our third year residents, no, to really find their area of interest. No, it may be local, it may be abroad, but at the third year level, you should start looking into what you're really interested in focusing in the future. This is not to say that you will abandon your general practice, no, but it is to meant and to help more people, more patients, no, who would be needing more specialized care. Now, I think this is the problem in those who are in the provincial practice, not because they wouldn't want to learn further. No, it's because that they think that it's already serving the community that they are into. No, but we should also give them, no, the chance to be served in a subspecialty level. Okay, even if we don't really have we say we don't have the machine, etc. But probably we can get into that little by little.
Actually, PARM has already been promoting the practice of subspecialization. Right now or recently, were you able to receive one of the emails asking for members to sign up for a specific SIG, yung Specialty Interest Group? So, lahat naman should come from the SIG kasi PARM kasi would be the mother specialty or society. And from the mother society, it can accredit specific societies of certain specializations. Pwede kasing MSK, pwede siyang pulmo rehab, pwede mga ito. At trying to, parang coming up with an idea, what would be the specialization that you will feel. Kaya when you see the email, yung PARM SIG, try to put yourself, tick there one or two or three, maybe three special interest group. Uh, at least PARM will know how will they organize these groups for you, for them to promote this in special interest. Ganun din, when you see physical therapists, they have, sa PPTA, they have their own SIEG groups. And from SIEG, meron silang CBR, meron silang musculoskeletal, meron silang pedia, meron silang sports. And from that one, the PPTA right now is coming up or formulating specializations for physical therapies. Gano'n din for farm din, kung ano yung ma-identify nila mga majority or madaming mga groups or signifying interest in these subspecialties or specialization, mas magiging madali para sa farm na mag-organize ng mga pocket meetings and pocket trainings for them. In
Thank you very much, Doc. So, again, a reminder, please scan the QR code for the SIG so we can gather like-minded doctors and we can gather the specialists and those interested in those topics so that we can formulate and get these people together so that we can make another subspecialization. So for our last question is, what advice would you give to early career physiatrists who are interested in exploring subspecialties but don't know where to start?
ask your seniors, ask your consultants. So,
Mentors.
remember kasi yung mga yan, mga seasoned veterans, usually they have this exposure already. And when you ask them, sometimes they give insights or inputs. Yung mga fresh graduate kasi when you go out, sometimes you feel that, I want to do this, I want to do this. Ang dami natin daw. Parang paglabas mo ng training institution, parang ang dami mong gustong gawin. But sometimes, may there are things that are irrelevant, but there are things that can help you with this specialization. Doon nag-meeting ang Board of Medicine asking for specializations, asking for training. Remember kasi that not all of the medical specialists is being accredited by the Board of Medicine and PRC. Gusto nila, pag mag-specialization kayo, dapat yung specialization mo or yung fellowship nyo, dapat na-accredit ng Board of Medicine. And BOM will accredit those, di ba, meron tayong makikita mga, sila ay mga certified, ganito, certified. But when the Board of Medicine looks at their curriculum, wala silang training, kulang sila sa time frame, wala silang curriculum, wala silang certification courses. Sometimes, pag nag-consolidate kasi yung PRC ng mga specialty, hindi sila masasama. Dahil kulang sila sa mga factors that for Board of Medicine to accredit these fellowship programs. So, kailangan ayusin nyo. Marami kasing mga fellowship na akala nila nag-certify sila on this training or this parang lifestyle medicine, pero pagdating nila dun sa Board of Medicine, hindi pala sila kasama sa specialization or subspecialization or fellowship. So, para nyo malaman yung mga yon, magtanong-tanong kayo sa mga seniors ninyo at mga consultants.
Yes. So another thing is to like in what is lacking in your projected area of practice. No? So one thing. So if it's say for example in Cavite or Batangas. So what is lacking in this particular area, and will you be able to fill in that niche? No. So maybe that's one an area you can go into subspecialization. So you'd have to find out, no? Especially nowadays, if you'd like to go into a tertiary hospital, most likely they will be requiring you to have a subspecialty already. So these are things that you would want to ponder on, especially on your third year. But if you can plan it earlier in your first and second year, then I think that would be best.
Okay, so lastly, advice, very simple. Mentoring, coaching, okay? And then for the residents, you take your time. You have 3 years of residency. I know medyo nakakapagod siya, but pinagdaanan natin yung lahat. If you really do your best, sumama kayo sa consultants nyo because each consultant has different techniques and when they do their management. So sumama kayo. Nung kayo matututo, always. And then after that, apply. Then experience. Application and experience is the best tool for teaching and remembering everything. You shadow. Ask questions. Do not be shy. So those are for the young ones. But we also have a message for the older ones. You do mentoring and coaching. You share what you know, your knowledge. Okay? Kasi time will pass. So what you learn, you share it to other people so that the rehabilitation medicine specialty will go on and on and on. So kailangan natin ng sustainability. Kailangan natin ng yun nga, mentoring and coaching because if you learn something and then you stop there, it's not it's not full success. Okay, you just learned what you know but you did not pass it on. So for us to be may growth tayo, pass it on, pass it on. So thank you.
Thank you very much. So thank you very much to our esteemed panel. So I hope you were able to get what's important, do training, mentor, and also listen to what you were and where you want to go to. Thank you very much.
So from the roots of rehabilitation, we now leap into the future, where technology meets human potential.
Welcome to our panel discussion, Redefining Rehabilitation.
In recent years, artificial intelligence and robotics have started to reshape the way we diagnose, monitor, and treat patients. From exoskeleton-assisted gait training to AI-powered therapy platforms, the future is no longer just an idea, it's happening now.
These innovations are not here to replace us, mind you. They are here to enhance what we do, to extend our reach, to personalize care, and to improve outcomes like never before.
But with rapid change comes important questions. How do we adapt as physiatrists? What skills do we need to stay relevant? How do we make sure technology remains human-centered and ethically grounded?
So this discussion will take us to the cutting edge of our field, guided by thought leaders and innovators who are already integrating AI, robotics, and smart rehabilitation systems into clinical practice.
To moderate this exciting session, please welcome Dr. Justin Zamora, and our guests are Dr. Joanna Macrohon, Dr. John Tyrone Cabrera, and Dr. Earl Louis Sempio.
Let's begin our panel discussion,
Redefining Rehabilitation, the role of AI and robotics in the future of physiatry.
Okay, so for the first question, how can AI and robotics be integrated into the current medical healthcare practices in the Philippines to enhance the patient care and rehabilitation outcomes?
Well, I think for me, for us to be able to integrate robotics and AI, I think we have to be open to the technology. We have to be open to learning new things. Kasi if we're not open, kahit anong mangyari, hindi ka makaka-adapt. So I think that's a very important thing. Be open to new technology, be open to learning.
I think with regards to augmenting our knowledge, AI would be able to help us sort through all the information that we have right now. So like for example, if you have your messenger right now, go into Meta AI, you can ask it anything, ask for journals or resources. It can sort through whatever is available out there. It lessens the tediousness of sorting to all the data that's available. So I think with the use of AI, it's not a solution to everything, but then AI would be able to at least lessen the burden, especially for our trainees that will be looking for answers. Those in education, they'll be looking for information. Decreasing the tediousness of looking for that information allows us to take care of our patients more, show our empathy. Less tired doctors would give more empathy to their patients. So I think augmentation of whatever we can do to our patients would be one way by which AI can help.
Okay. I think with regards to AI, it's already integrated in our practice slowly. It's a matter of learning or knowing what is available, what are the software which has AI integration within that we could use, both clinically and in research. Actually, fortunately, just last Sunday, right, we had a discussion on how AI could be used for research. So that's a starting point on how we could integrate that, as well as like Dr. Earl mentioned, AI to collate information, summarize information, and then utilize in your practice.
Okay, so it's about being open to the technology, and it allows AI to help us be more efficient, right? So in a nutshell, that's the benefit of having the technology right now. But what are the current challenges in adopting these kinds of technologies, such as AI and robotics technologies, specifically in healthcare?
I think one of the first things that we have to address would be the ethical use of AI, because I think the challenge now is with every technology that doctors are able to handle, there's a tendency to abuse. And the lack of understanding is quite dangerous. So if a doctor will be using AI irresponsibly, so you're not an expert in that field, and you're asking questions, like for example, you want to have several medications given to a patient, and you're asking if it is safe, and you're not a specialist on that field. AI, the problem with AI right now is still based on the data that's available. So if it doesn't have the data that's available, it will hallucinate that data. So those who are familiar with ChatGPT, you might have seen it wonderfully give out answers. It gives you what you're asking for, but then sometimes if it doesn't have the resources, it will hallucinate data. It will give out journals that are non-existent. So you really have to be careful with it. It's still based on what is available data. So I think one major challenge would be responsible use and being able to be informed about the use of AI.
Okay, I'll just add on what Dr. Sempio just mentioned. With the use of artificial intelligence, the difficulty lies on integrating the AI in the local setting. There are various softwares with AI integration, such as those with outcomes calculator. So the ability of the artificial intelligence to collate big data, so numerous data about the patient's information, for example, the patient's history, your physical examination, laboratory findings, and then it will be able to predict what is the most probable diagnosis, and what is the next best step when it comes to further diagnostics and management. However, most integrated softwares are contextualized to other countries, and it's what we need now is more local information to be fed to the software to enable deep learning, and so that it could actually be applicable, for clinical practice.
Oh, I can add with regards to robotics, the most prohibitive thing is the cost. It's very expensive. Not everybody will be able to afford it. Second is that some of the robotics are not really adaptable to our patients. Not all patients can use that type of robotics, and it still lacks the AI factor or the machine learning factor, wherein the machine can determine for you, this program is appropriate for this patient. This program is for this patient. As we've said earlier, we need data. So the robot will only be able to learn if you have data. But if do not have the robots, we do not have the robots per se. So we will not be able to input any data to it. So I think cost is one. Next is some of the robots are really huge. They take up a lot of space, and not all centers are big and can accommodate the size of the robot. So I think that's one of the factors, the major factors that will contribute to the robotics.
Okay. Okay, so that's great. And also, you mentioned about the efficiency and also allowing AI not to decide for you, but to help you decide, right? How about the evidence? Can you share some evidence that you've encountered on the successful use of AI and or robotics in healthcare?
Is this personal evidence or evidence elsewhere? Okay, so when it comes to clinical evidence on the efficacy of AI, right now, locally, um, in our institution, no, we have already started playing with some software integration, using artificial intelligence for image measurements. So we have been using this for our patients. So we will just feed the machine ultrasound images, and then we'll allow, I think some of the participants here were present during the pre-convention, during the annual convention, or we showed them how to measure ultrasound images. But now we already have a software with AI integrated in it, which we just feed to the machine, and in 3 seconds, it's able to measure all of the different things that we need. However, it's still in the very early phase when it comes to really accurately identifying specific landmarks in the ultrasound, and we hope to work on that in the future.
As I've said earlier, not all institutions are lucky enough to have robotics, but for those who can can have it. I'm sure you've seen your patients get better, especially those that requires highly task-specific repetitive exercises, and they do show good results. Unfortunately, we do not have local datas, but internationally with other countries, they do have the data. Yep.
I think as of now, a lot of institutions are trying to do research on the use of AI. So I think this is also a good call for all of us to at least be open to the use of AI and at least try to get data, because I think any publication would require data. And if we don't have data on the usage, and even for us doctors who are not even using it, how can we have the data that will be needed to publish? So one interesting thing that I want to share, there's recent publication with regards to Google AI in regards to answering, the chatbots that are answering to patients. So patients are consulting an online platform wherein they randomize the patients to answer, the patients being answered by Google AI versus doctors. Initially, it started with the doctors being able to answer empathetically, being able to answer good to the patients. However, in the long run, the doctors became tired. Google AI eventually got trained to answer better and become more empathic. So in the end point, after all the consults that were done, it was the Google AI that turned out to be more empathic than the doctors, because the doctors ended up becoming tired and becoming, what you call this, becoming irritated by the repetitive questions, which was good for the AI because it becomes training data for the AI. So looking at it in a point of view by which you look into the interaction between the patients and AI in the long run, AI would be improving. The doctors will be getting irritated and getting tired. So I think with that, that's one way of looking at how AI can evolve and eventually help doctors.
And also, AI has just been a trend just lately. So we expect more publications, more data, and as long as we continue to evolve also as doctors, then I don't think that we have to be threatened because that's the worry of others. Okay, so moving on. How can AI help with the shortage of specialists in far-flung areas? Because I think it's useful also, and it can help the delivery of healthcare. So, any thoughts on that, doctors?
For me, the thought that I have on this matter is that It is a good idea. It is feasible. We can do tele-rehab. But the thing is, our country, the facilities are sadly lacking. We do not have the infrastructure for it. Some internet is not easily accessible to all. And then the devices that we need to for monitoring, like your wearables, your watch, your smartwatch, your IoTs, this is not readily available to all. So I think these are challenges in providing our services. If we have those, if it's subsidized, it's easily available, then we can easily do virtual rehab or tele-rehab.
Okay, so I think we talked about predictive outcomes calculator using artificial intelligence a while ago. And this becomes a problem now in far-flung areas because, again, one, there's no local data yet. There's no local information on how we are actually managing our patients in the Filipino context. So if AI makes a recommendation that the patient should undergo MRI where MRI is not present, and that the patient should have a specific type of injection that needs to be done, but there's no specialist who can perform those types of injections, then it becomes difficult really to apply, which is why we've been really pushing towards that local data that is necessary so that in faraway regions, even with the unavailability of this different technology, AI might offer options which may be applicable to that locality.
I think one emerging aspect of AI would be the triage using EMRs. Okay, so as of now, I think not a lot of institutions will be using EMR, but then those that have EMRs would have the capability of having the data being analyzed by AI and having an efficient way by which the patients will be referred to rehabilitation or to where they are needed to be referred to. So an efficient manner, an efficient way by which these patients may be referred to would decrease unnecessary referrals, would also increase the utilization of available systems.
Oh, okay. So are there avenues where healthcare professionals can train or to be, equipped on how to utilize these kinds of technologies? Also for the benefit of our audience.
Okay. I think as of now, there are a lot of online courses. Particularly, I'm taking one in Coursera. There's also in Microsoft. It's currently an evolving technology, and a lot has to be learned eventually when it becomes applied to a lot of aspects in medicine. I think as of now, we are in need of doctors being able to at least understand the basics of AI. What are the things that can be applied to medicine? What will be the dangers and ethical use of these technologies would be very important.
I agree with Dr. Sampio. Actually, when I was thinking about that question, um, we do not necessarily need to learn about or rather creating the algorithm for artificial intelligence itself. When developing the AI technology, at the end point, it is still the physicians who will eventually check the reliability and validity of this AI technology as we apply this to our patients. However, like Dr. Sampio mentioned, it's important to learn the basics. There's a lot of math there, so not that for me, no, but at least know how AI would work so that the physicians would be able to generate ideas on how we could better apply artificial intelligence in different aspects of healthcare.
Yes, I would agree with that we need digital literacy, no? So you don't really need to know how to code, but at least be able to understand. In terms of robotics, most of the manufacturers will provide specialized training. So it's not really something that is an obstacle for us because they will provide the training for you on how to operate the machine, how to manipulate the machine to suit your patients. So it's something that is easily accessible.
One question that came into mind is also how do we balance? Because that's usually like the usual questions of people. How do we balance our human touch versus the efficiency and then the quickness on how AI analyzes. It can be a personal input, doctors.
Before you utilize AI, you should really, it's very important to be trained in your specialization. Because again, AI will just guide you. No, what I mentioned just previously, AI is not accurate. And most of the time, it is not applicable in whatever you are managing, whether in your patient or in your local setting. So it is still up to the doctor to improvise or to just pick up the important aspects that AI have produced and use them, apply them to their patients. Again, the end point is still the physician decides. AI just probably suggests.
I think AI will never replace human touch. AI will only learn as much as you have taught it. So iba pa rin yung doctors. You are still the final decision makers. You will be the one to decide whether to accept what AI feeds you or to reject it.
What I teach my students is that to approach AI in a way by which you try to evaluate the difficulty of the task as compared to your knowledge about the specialty or the task at hand. So if the task at hand is a repetitive task, it's not life or death, and you are a specialist in that field, you're knowledgeable in that field, you can use AI freely. It's your assistant. It can automate things for you. Like, for example, grammar checking a research paper, writing a request letter. Okay, so that's simple tasks, not life or death. You can make use of that AI easily. But then, if it's task that's life or death decision making, and you are a specialist on it, you can ask AI to assist you, maybe guide you to look for evidence base, to have a basis for your decision making. So it becomes an assistant if you are a specialist in life or death situations. But then if you are not a specialist and you're using it, even if it's evidence based, even if it's for menial use, it can be quite dangerous. So avoid using it if you are not a specialist in that field. So remember that you are still accountable with whatever decision you come up with using the AI systems. So if you do research, if you look for information, comes up with recommendations for patients, you're still accountable. So I think balancing between making use of that technology and maintaining your care for your patients, I think priority should be the decision of the physician.
So it's always up to you at the end of the day. Okay. Now, on to the last question. How do we see the future? Like, let's say 5 to 10 years. How is the field of medicine in the background of all these fast, ever changing technologies? What are your inputs about it as experts?
Okay, so, for my part, I think I'll talk about AI research because, well, fortunately, I don't think we're too far when it comes to AI research as compared to our international peers. We have this group in Turkey who's now integrating artificial intelligence with ultrasound images. And we're basically also doing something similar right now. We have also this group in Australia who's presently doing outcomes prediction. And it's something that we're also starting now. Just recently, I think if you've heard from the news, we have iSulat. It's the artificial intelligence integrated system using handwriting to detect for learning disabilities. No? So I'm not one of the proponents, but it's from the same research team, and we're leaping bounds, no, when it comes to AI research. And 5 to 10 years from now, we see it as part of clinical practice already, hopefully. But again, there are a lot of roadblocks though, that we need to go over. And I think what we have been mentioning, it really is the availability of data and using that data to be integrated into the system.
For my part, I'll talk about robotics. So I hope in 5 to 10 years, it will be more affordable and easy. It's more accessible to everybody.
Hopefully, it will be affordable. Okay, so any questions from the audience? Because I'm sure that you're all interested and curious. Yeah, I think that Dr. Evangelista.
I just had to say something. Hindi, robotics is totally separate from AI. About 10 years ago, I attended the conference on the World Federation of Neurorehab in Austria. There was a big delegation of therapists who came to oppose robotics because it was threatening for them. So we listened to them, right? But a year ago, we went to Singapore to see robotics, and one OT was managing 4 patients at the same time through robotics. So the machine may be seemingly expensive, but in the long run, it may be efficient in terms of less labor, less our, kasi we're also dependent on our therapist, di ba? Are decreasing our dependence on the therapist also, especially since we're having difficulty already hiring them, di ba? So robotics is totally separate, and I agree that we should embrace no, technology in rehab medicine, be it robotics or any other equipment that come new no, in our practice. Because we cannot do hot packs, ultrasound intense forever, no? Yung hot and hum, no? Hot packs, ultrasound and massage. It's where we came from. No, we can't do that forever. We really have to move on and do more. And that includes technology. Yung AI naman is really scary. You know, with just one picture, you can animate it and somebody turns into a mermaid, no? Easily with talking voice and everything. And what have they used it for in medicine? And I was a victim of that. Several endorsers of medicines talking with your voice and endorsing products. So with AI, I think for medicine, and we should continually discuss it. Tama yan, dapat PARM should always have a discussion on AI. We should not stop discussing it. Is regulation, which PRC is really needed, or PMA, or even PARM, should be able to regulate the use of AI. In fact, there are already may counterpart na si Turnitin, di ba? For AI, you can actually detect already AI in the research work. And they've already developed systems of that. So very important for AI is regulation, control, yan. That is totally separate. But if you use AI, I agree with you guys that in the wrong way, then it can be misconstrued or even do harm or damage to our patients. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that comment. But yes, we all agree that we have to be responsible and nothing will replace human touch. The technology is there to help us to be more efficient and to assist us in collating thousands of data. Okay, so we have another comment.
Suggestion, I want to learn some more about AI. Is there going to be a session that will teach us, orient us for AI use, proper use? How to maximize it?
Actually, Doctor, just last Sunday, we had a lecture with PARM on the use of AI in research. So that's a good starting point, and hopefully in the future, our members could learn more on how we could use AI, what AI technologies are available, and how we could use it responsibly.
Thank you for mentioning that, but translating your research into clinical practice using AI, that's what personally I think I need, especially as you are already awarding us as luminary, medyo slow down na. So we need your power, my young ones, no? And congratulations with all you young guys here championing our specialty. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for all the comments and our esteemed panelists. Can you stay for the certificate?
CBR is not just a strategy, it's a movement, one that brings rehabilitation directly to the people, especially those who need it most.
Yes, and it's about the collaboration with families, barangays, LGUs, the therapists, and community leaders. It's about enabling people with disability to regain their function, their dignity, and independence, right where they live.
In this final panel discussion entitled Championing Care, we will hear stories from the ground, how physiatry intersects with public health, how sustainable rehabilitation can be delivered beyond urban centers, and how each of us can be a champion of care in our own local settings.
And it is time to be reminded that the true impact of our profession goes beyond the clinic doors. It is measured in the lives changed at the grassroots level.
Moderating this session will be Dr. Ron Kua, the PARM NCR Secretary, and our guest, none other than Dr. Lali Beredo and,
Now, let's begin our second panel discussion.
and Dr. Nanette Franco.
Yes.
Let's begin our last panel discussion
Championing care, the role of community-based rehabilitation
in today's
physiatry.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this afternoon's panel discussion on community-based rehabilitation. As we all know, the Philippines is a developing nation. We're actually an archipelago with more than 7,000 islands. Definitely, there are a lot of far-flung areas, marginalized areas with no access or very limited access to rehabilitation medicine and rehabilitation care. So we have with us two very esteemed physiatrists who dedicated their time and expertise in community-based rehabilitation. Yes, senior. Okay, so for the first question, what does community-based rehabilitation mean in the context of the Philippine healthcare system, and how has it evolved over the years?
Good evening, everyone. The concept of community-based rehab is not only limited to the Philippines and to the developing countries. It is a program of the ISPRM, and it is a worldwide program. And every session of the ISPRM has a community-based module. And incidentally, when it was in Malaysia, I was one also of the panel. And when it went to Thailand, I was one of the panel. Anyway, so it's not only a concept for Philippines, but it is a concept of the International Society of Physical and Rehabilitation Medicine. CBR can be integrated because we have patients who have mobility problem. So accessibility of the rehab services for full functional recovery is very important. And especially with us, na archipelago, it's hard to reach. And we want to reach them. So how do we do this? The chapters are very important in this program to reach out to the community. Initially, way back 1990, I think, it was started by the then Secretary of Health, Dr. Periquet, officially entering the WHO program of CBR in the Philippines. However, after a while, because the community-based rehab that we did that time was not sustainable, parang medical mission type. So, andyan ang disabled, aalis, pag uwi namin lahat, wala ng programa. Medical mission lang kasi. So, you know that the community-based rehab must be always accessible and sustainable para maging so we can help the patients. Nanette.
Thank you very much, Dr. Nanette. Would you like to add?
Good evening, and I'd like to thank NCR Chapter for giving me the honor of sharing the stage with one of the leading proponents of CBR in the Philippines, Dr. Lali. together with Dr. Betty Mancao and PARM Mindanao's very own Dr. Luchi Aportadera. No? So among the so-called younger ones, si Dr. June Andivera yung medyo active dito. No? So it's very timely na the focus will be on community-based rehabilitation because of the proposed implementation stage of universal healthcare, malakas po yung thrust towards community-based rehabilitation. And as mentioned by Dr. Lali, dati po, the focus was on on physical rehabilitation, but now the trend is more on CBID. It's more, emphasizes more on the inclusive development. So para holistic approach po on the rehabilitation of the disabled individuals for their mainstreaming. So yun po ang evolution actually dito sa Philippines.
Okay. Doctors, how can community-based rehabilitation programs be effectively integrated into local communities to ensure access to rehabilitation services for marginalized people and groups?
As Dr. Nanet said, we have to start already community-based rehabilitation because this is the gateway of the PhilHealth for the for the package for rehabilitation. And this will always be started forefront sa frontline community-based in the municipal area and in the barangays.
In addition to that, yung access po to rehabilitation care and services, medyo kulang pa po talaga, no? Especially from where I'm from in Mindanao. So we need to work strongly with government to provide access. No? So sa atin, as mentioned by Doktora, not all areas meron rehab professionals. So while we can train barangay health workers to do yung home exercise program, it has to be emphasized na it should go to, diagnosis should go where it is properly, no, proper designation ng trabaho. So rehab diagnosis as well as yung delivery ng physical therapy, occupational and speech, no. So but syempre that's not easy because kulang na kulang talaga. So for now siguro we have to make stopgap measures kung paano natin mapaabot in the marginalized sectors and in the hard to reach areas.
One way is through the chapters, through telemedicine. If every day, there is a physiatrist assigned at a certain time, 1 to 3 p.m., na like Mindanao chapter, all will have a 1 to 3 p.m., one province each will go Zoom for inform all the municipalities within the area. And first week, municipality 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, they will know that there are doctors there, and you show the difference between how a physiatrist will evaluate from an ordinary doctor. And if you cannot have someone to stay there Monday to Friday, 1 to 3, naka-Zoom, Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao, NCR. NCR has a lot of members. When you cannot have a person there seated for Zoom, you ask the NCR fellows to have 1 week or 1 cycle of a year na sila yung tatao doon. If they cannot, they get a body to man the Zoom. Because there are allies and there are barangay health workers you can train for simple. However, for diagnostic, we can do missions, CBR missions, which we are doing actually and we have established in certain areas. But importante, yung buong PARM committed. It is not only those in the province, the whole PARM fellows or associates must have their day na nasa Zoom, and when they are there, takuhan ninyo. So that they will know that we are here, even if we are few, we can answer, and we are present, and we are willing to help in the community-based rehab.
Okay, thank you very much, Doctora. So, as you mentioned, the local government units play a really very important role, no, in the continuation and the success of community-based rehabilitation. In your experience, how have community-based rehabilitation programs contributed to improving the quality of life for individuals with disabilities in the Philippines? Can you share any success stories?
Actually, when we mobilize the community-based rehab, we do not go to an area if the mayor, the municipal mayor, is not into it. So they have to be the ones asking us to go there. The municipal mayor should be ready, and the PDAO officer and the whoever these people are, because they will be the one to sponsor our transportation and accommodation to go there.
Yes.
And we tell the PDAO office, because this already are ready registry. You profile how many patients are there, how many are elderly, how many are pediatric and adult. If in the list we have more pedia and syempre mas maraming elderly kesa sa pedia, we do it usually 2 days. 1 day pedia, 1 day
Adult.
adult. And the mayors see the foundation, by the way, the PARM has a foundation, the PARM Rare Foundation. And this is where the focus of Rare Foundation is, for the community approach. If after all the funds that they have, MAIP, IIP, whatever it is to help, and it's not enough, the Rare Foundation will support whatever the disabled needs. We come back and we give the amputees, the Physician for Peace does that. But if they cannot, we will help. So there are now regional centers, 17 regional centers who have a budget for rehabilitation and eventually will open residency program in rehabilitation medicine. So the manpower, the medical people are there. It's just a way to approach. And yes, are we needed? Yes. How come? Diyan lang sa prescription pad na binibigay, there is apparent disability. But the bulk of the people are the inapparent disability. And this will be growing in numbers.
In addition to that, how has access to rehab care or services have changed the quality of life, no? And this is especially true for those na nakikita mo and who will be going home to their communities na walang rehab access, no? But you have given them even just a simple home exercise program, how to do bed mobility exercises, how to mobilize patient. And this have spelled the difference between lying there and then developing bed sores to being able to get up, and even just simple self-care or being able to get up on your own. So very simple, little wins, but this simple access to rehab instructions has made a difference in their quality of life. So ganon lang, no? So these are many, many times repeated in instances in the far-flung communities, no? Simple access to even home instruction lang.
At least the basic ADLs, the 5 basic, that's enough.
And Doctora, with regards to that, you mentioned very simple tasks, very simple instructions that you can give to your patients will actually do a lot of benefit for them. What kind of training and education do rehabilitation professionals need to be more effective in implementing community-based rehab strategies at the community level? Is there any type of special training?
Actually, when we did the first wave of CBR training, we focused on the barangay health workers. But with the influx of a lot of vaccines, the barangay health workers now are so loaded. Immunization, immunization here, immunization there. So naubos na ang oras ng bara. So it's really the family or a family member that or the patient themselves will help themselves to do it.
I think for the residency training programs, it would be helpful for the communities if there is emphasis, more emphasis on community-based inclusive development, no? And then for the chapters naman, it is also very helpful for the communities, especially the underserved ones, if they will go out and then interact with the stakeholders, LGUs, and yung sinasabi ni Doktora, barangay health workers, to multiply, yung multiplier effect lang kasi masyadong kulang talaga, no? The rehab professionals, even PTs, no? So we have to work with what we have until such time na dumami tayo. So yun lang.
Yeah, so a collaborative effort among all the allied health workers, physiatrists, actually within PARM itself, lahat ng chapters po, Doktora, dapat magtulong-tulong. So finally, as the National Capital Region Chapter celebrates its 10th anniversary, what do you see is the future of CBR in the Philippines over the next decade? And how can we best prepare for this?
Actually, when we do our mission, we also try to make the local government commit, number one, for an item or a budget for the physiatrists, direct, indirect, or whatever. And then they must be ready to hire allied, a position for a PT or a PT technician. If in the community may PT graduate na walang board, they have to hire. And then an occupational therapist, if there is one, a speech, and prosthetic orthotics. And in the basic package of rehab, there is a basic community-based package. We only ask for a commitment to hire a physical therapist as part of the municipal health office. Because a municipal health office should not be limited only to a doctor, to a nurse, to a dentist, and to a health worker. The allied must already be in the plantilla of the municipal health office. So when we engage in a municipal or in an area, we ask the mayor to have an item for for rehab allied and physiatrists. Yung physiatrist kasi mahirap bigyan ng an item yan eh. They would rather part-time or yun na nga, tele. But actually, in NCR, our success story is in Navotas. The PARM Rare had a satellite in Navotas and eventually nag-hire ng physiatrist who is now there. Pero yung satellite, nagkaroon ng problema during COVID. The municipal government of Navotas has made a rehab center. Valenzuela is another success story with Dr. X Onde. From one rehab facility, naging 3. So, and likewise, I think other municipalities will follow. So, we want that it's not just a mission, it must be sustainable. And if at a certain point in time, marami ng pasyente and they were able to succeed for the basic, they can go for the advanced, wherein the municipality will have the advanced facility and diagnostics like ultrasound, these things. So the vision now is not just a medical mission CBR, but a sustainable municipal health program that will be permanent with an item for the medical rehab team.
I think we are seeing the fruits of PARM's labor since the OH has already mandated that rehab residency training be included in level 2 hospitals. No? So 2025 yata. And then we have started already seeing the implementation of several rehab packages, which will mean more access to rehab services. No? So siguro, just continue on advocating for community-based inclusive development so that more and more Filipinos will have access to rehabilitation care.
Thank you very much, doctors. There's definitely a bright future for community-based rehabilitation. With that, we highly encourage our younger physiatrists to join in the advocacy of community-based rehab. Thank you very much
Thank
once
you.
again. Thank you.
As we draw this scientific symposium to a close, we stand here filled with pride, gratitude, and hope. 10 years ago, the idea of a united, thriving NCR chapter was just that, an idea. But with each passing year, we turned vision into action and action into legacy. And tonight, we have seen the fruits of that legacy in the faces of our pioneers, in the stories shared earlier, and in the energy that filled this room. Our team, A Decade of NCR, Nurturing Skills, Championing Care, Redefining Rehabilitation, is more than a slogan. It is a reflection of everything we've built together. We have nurtured future leaders, championed our patients and communities, and boldly embraced innovations that redefine what it means to be a physiatrist in today's world. Of course, I would like to thank our sponsors for tonight. We have Sonoscape. Please give them a round of applause. OrthoHub, who provided the disability certificates. Innova Pharmaceuticals, Jack Pharma, Spectrum Med, JCS Pharmaceutical, and Taisho. And also to our video and photographer, Euphoria Cinema. As we close this chapter of 10 years, we open a new one with stronger resolve, greater unity, and renewed commitment to serve. Let us carry the spirit of night forward to the clinics and communities. Maraming salamat, mabuhay ang PARM at mabuhay ang PARM NCR Chapter.